You entrusted your loved one's care to a nursing home, expecting compassion and quality treatment. Instead, they suffered from neglect, abuse, bed sores, falls, or medication errors that could have been prevented. I'm Chris Brown from Geiger Legal Group. Our elderly deserve dignity and proper care, not negligence that causes pain and suffering. When nursing homes fail in their duty of care, we fight to hold them accountable. Your loved one's suffering matters. We'll stand up for those who can't stand up for themselves.
Call Geiger Legal Group at 833-HELP-GLG and let us tell your story today.
You snoozed twice this morning, spilled your coffee once, and you've already blamed last night's referee for your morning mood.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It's time to embrace the chaos and step into the madness.
Bro, you about to see a side of me you didn't even know existed.
Featuring guests who are over-caffeinated and less reasonable than the average person.
Man, I think it's just ridiculous.
Come on, man. Are you serious? Ugh.
Fans, where else would you rather be than right here, right now? Welcome to the show.
So buckle up. It's time for hot takes and hot mics. This is the Morning Rant, where the only thing more unpredictable is Dave before his third cup of coffee.
I just felt like running.
On WPGY, the Sports Pig.
And a good Monday morning to you right here on the Morning Rant. Thanks for being with us. Our Monday morning quarterback segment, a special holiday, Memorial Day show here today for you. Again, we appreciate you guys being with us. Once again, Dave Garner with you right here alongside the refrigerator mover, John Davis. And we've got a special guest joining us right here in the first segment as well, my broadcast partner, Art Mosley, joining us right here. We're going to talk about some high school baseball in just a moment, and then we'll let Art go because, man, we got a busy day coming down the pipe here. Back down in Columbus, calling that 3A state baseball championship today with the Pickens Dragons. But we welcome you guys being with us right here on a Memorial Day. We hope that you guys are enjoying a long holiday as we remember those brave souls who have fought for our freedom and for our country here today, and our continuing thoughts and prayers with our current servicemen and women all around the country and all around the world right here on this Memorial Day. Big John, how you doing, partner?
Wonderful. Good to see you, pal.
You know, a lot. We're going to talk a lot. We got a lot to pack in the next 60 minutes, too, by the way, before I got to hit the road and join my man Art down there at Synovus Park in Columbus for Game 3 of that Pickens Dragons state championship appearance there against the Troup County Tigers. But you and I, man, we were texting all weekend. I mean, the Indy 500, I mean, the final lap of that race, the closest finish of all time. The Atlanta Braves, man, where was the offense the last 2 days? I mean, one run in 18 innings as they lose their second series of the year. You know, no reason to panic or hit the panic button or the alarm by any means, but still, like, come on, man. Hopefully the bats will wake up as they head to the Red Sox. But man, talk about your weekend, man. I know it's been a kind of a wet and rainy one for the most part in North Georgia, but man, you've been all over the place.
The basement flooded, which
what?
nobody.
You didn't even tell me that.
Well, look, I tell you what, the amount of rain that came down in the last 2 days, just in a short 15-20 minute span. I mean, where's it going to go?
Right.
But we know what the problem is, so it's not that big of a deal, fortunately. But it's a great weekend. We're just trying to pack everything in, trying to get ready for the golf tournament coming up in a couple of weeks, which is going to be exciting. And watching the races. Well, my son John Henry was up at Speedway watching with his girlfriend and her parents, and he was sending us pictures back. And man, he just said the atmosphere was just unbelievable. Got a picture with the governor up there.
Okay,
and,
there you
so
go.
That's going to be a bucket list. Next year we're doing the Kentucky Derby, and then the following year we're going to do the Indianapolis 500. So
I love it.
No, he had a lot of fun, and then of course this spending Memorial Day and just remembering all those that that sacrificed for us, and interesting conversations I have with some people about it, because some of the servicemen that went through it and did their time and everything, they're of the belief they just want to hear stories.
Right.
And I was talking to a good friend of mine, and he's like, the way you can honor us is, tell us a story about your father, or tell you a story about your mother or grandfather or somebody. Of course, I had a long line of people in my family service as well. Yeah. And I'll say one thing, and I'll make it very quick, but this is one flag that you really don't ever want to get, to be honest with you. And this is the one that was draped over my dad's casket at his funeral. But and the only thing I'll say about that, the big memory that I've got taken away from that was when I, when I walked into the funeral home, I went up to the casket and by myself and was just sitting there contemplating and saw a purple star.
Wow.
And it never even knew that he had got a purple star. Wow. And of course, that's the generation that they just didn't talk about it.
Right. Yeah,
and you talk about emotionally hitting. So tell some stories and, talk about your family. And, that's I think that's one way of healing. And it's also one way of bringing out some great memories, or bringing back some great memories.
Absolutely. And we're going to do more of that later in the show as well. We'll take a trip down memory lane a little bit with the refrigerator mover right here. Again, Big John Davis will share a couple of stories. I had a lot of folks that served in the military too in my family. And, my dad was in the Navy back during the Korean War and, but never really said a lot, like to your point. I mean, there wasn't really a lot of talk about, some of the things that they experienced and went through and things like that. So, again, but we'll share some stories later in the show as time allows, of course, right here on this Memorial Day. That's the focus, certainly, of the day today as we continue to bring it to you right here on a holiday. And with the holiday, we talked about a lot of racing, Indy 500 and the Coca-Cola 600, of course. A lot of rain, these different events having to dodge rain throughout the weekend. The Byron Nelson Classic as well with the PGA. We've got some college football notes to share with you as well. So a lot going on here over the next few segments right here on this Monday morning quarterback. Got the ACC represented in the house here today, Big John with his Georgia Tech pullover, and my man Art Mosley. He's from Jacksonville, Florida. John, you'll have to excuse him. He's got the Miami Hurricane pullover on. I should have told him he should have known better here today. But I do want to welcome to the program here in the first segment my man Art Mosley, longtime broadcaster partner of mine. We've got a little bit more work to do here later this afternoon as you and I head back down to Columbus for Game 3 of that 3A state championship. But welcome, partner.
Thanks so much for having me, Dave. And, I really wanted to give John kind of a little guff about the North Avenue Trade School, but Georgia Tech beat my Jackets on, I believe, on Friday in the semifinals. So Saturday, and Georgia Tech, the ACC champions in baseball. So I know John will have time to gloat about that and talk about that later on in the show, but I feel like there wasn't enough ACC representation in Georgia, so here we go, Big John. I'm right along with you as an ACC brother, and thanks for having me on the show today.
Yeah, there we go. Absolutely. Wanted to talk real quick. I know you've got the day off as well from your big, cushy job down in Atlanta, so we appreciate you taking the time out here to join us right here. As soon as we get done here today and just kind of, being transparent, as soon as we get off the air here today, I'm going to jump in the truck and go down and pick up Art, and we're going to head on down to Columbus. So I'll be seeing you in person here in a little while. But real quick, I wanted to bring you on to talk about baseball. Obviously, Etowah, the 6A class 6A state championship gets underway today over at Gwinnett. Again, Kell did win the 4A bracket, so we already got one winner out of East Cobb, out of kind of our coverage area there. So congratulations to the Longhorns. The Dragons had it in hand Saturday night, 2 weather delays. I didn't get home till 2:30 in the morning on Sunday morning. But again, they had it in hand. They won game 1, but game 2 got away in the final inning. So now we got to pack up. We got to go back down for game 3 today. But your thoughts on everything that transpired over the weekend?
Oh, first of all, what a fantastic weekend, and great job by the GHSA hosting down in Columbus. It was a great atmosphere despite the threat of weather all weekend long. We had a chance to see Gordon Lee capture their state title, a 3-1 victory, a 4-1 victory rather, over Vidalia.
Yep.
And everything looked like it was in hand for the Pickens Dragons, cruising along. A.J. Rice looked great, 14 strikeout in game 1, 7-2 victory. And here we go, come back. And I tell you what, we were sitting in the catbird seat, I felt like, Dave, as, the Christian Starks was motoring through 6 innings, and then hiccup in the sixth, rather. Excuse me, the top of the seventh.
Yeah.
And, hats off. I know we're in North Georgia Station, but we weren't talking about Chase Mosley, no relation, the pitcher from Troop, who was in his own right pitching a one-run game, and it was really a pitcher's duel. We thought we'd get back to North Georgia before midnight, the way those guys were working. And the wheels fell off the bus for the Dragons in the top of the seventh, and here we go. We get to go back on
there we go.
In a couple hours.
Game 3. You look like you're already at the ballpark, man. I love the way you've superimposed it behind you there. Sonoa's Park down there in Columbus, a beautiful facility, of course, home of the AA Braves affiliate to Columbus, Clingstone. John and I, we've been talking about the high school baseball. I think that's one thing that sets this show apart from, the rest of, Atlanta Sports Talk Radio or what have you, is the fact that we do like to bring it back home when we have the opportunity, even more so than some of the other, talk shows and things do. So anytime we can squeeze in our high school sports talk, we do that. And we've got a lot of area high schools that we represent all over North Georgia. So honored to go back down. We hate they didn't do it in 2, but glad to go back down today. They just got to get it done today. In Game 3, they got to find a way. So we'll see what the pitching matchup's going to be. Does look like it is going to be Davis Munkus for Troop County. More than likely that'll be their starter. And perhaps Everett Grubbs, the guy that you coached in youth basketball and stuff, I think, over the years, and know those guys. So, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it should be Munkus as a guy that is slated to pitch, as you mentioned. Fastball 86, curveball 68, 67, throws a slider and a changeup, mixes in there. And Everett has the same pitches. If Coach Anderson decides to go with Everett today, we thought that would be the starter. So we'll see who they throw out. It should be a fantastic game. These guys are gamers. I've, as you mentioned, I've coached Everett, and I don't know if I've seen a more competent kid coming up, a humble kid. So looking excited to see that. And also, you mentioned Davis Munkus, tremendous athlete in his own right. So it should be a fantastic Game 3 of the series.
Looking forward to working with you, partner. Again, Art Mosley joining us right here with the scoop. We'll be headed down again 6 o'clock. First pitch. Our live broadcast starts at 5:30 over on our sister station 101.1 The Pulse. Art, thanks for being with us right here, buddy. I'll see you in a bit.
Thanks so much, John. Dave, you'll have a good one.
All right, man. Sounds good. Again, Art Mosley joining us right here live on the Morning Rant, this Monday morning quarterback edition of the program. Appreciate you guys being with us. A couple big notes there. Again, the Braves falling last night. It looked hopeful. They were down 2-0. They lost 2-0 on Saturday night. Sunday, they come back yesterday. They're down 2-0 in the ninth inning. They get some guys aboard. They get one across. They just couldn't get the equalizer there, and they fall 2-1. So, again, they lose 2 out of 3 to the Nationals. Where were the bats, man? There was just no offense over the last 2 days.
Yeah, it's interesting. Right when you see the offense and it explodes and it comes from all different directions, and then you come out and you see two games like this, you can't, hey Dave, you can't be upset. They're sitting at 36-18. They're 9 games ahead. This is the third way through the stadium through the season. But again, we go back and just talk about the little things we like to try to bring up to our baseball fans out there. The last 2 games, they were 1 of 12 with runners in scoring position.
Wow.
And they left 13 people on base.
Yeah. And there you go. That's a story.
That goes to show you, that 1 for 12, how much difference that would be if it was a 5 for 12 or something like that. So, but yeah, you can't be really upset. They're sitting they're right 9 games ahead right now. They lost 2 series. Wow, we should really be mad at them.
You're right,
for losing 2 series in the first third of the season. But they look like they're sitting really well across the board. They still got about a 3 or 4 game lead over the Dodgers, who's right behind them in second place. And I went back just before we head off to break. I went back. They're leading the league in team batting and team pitching.
Yeah.
So they're doing something right. Some of those numbers look really down. I think they're only leading with like a 267 or 268 batting average, which you really don't think is that good.
Right.
But I guess that could be the norm today. So they go. They leave. Take today off. Imagine they're flying up to Boston today and for 3 games, and then head over to Cincinnati before they get home.
There you go. Again, the Red Sox and Reds on deck for the Braves as they hit the road here, 36-18 on the season, still in good shape. But we'll talk about the Braves a little bit later on. After the break, I do want to circle back and talk a little bit about what Art Mosley was talking about with that ACC baseball championship there. Again, the Jackets regular season tournament champs, and of course, a lot to talk about there. A lot of racing. Again, the Kyle Busch tributes all weekend long, even at the Indy 500, and certainly last night at the Coca-Cola 600. So plenty more to get to here over the final 45 minutes or so of this Monday morning quarterback edition, our special edition, a Memorial Day edition of the program right here. Again, I'm Dave Garner. He's John Davis. We're right back with more of the Morning Rant. And again, we'll answer a few texts that popped up on our Jasper Coca-Cola text line, as always, 866-888-0744. Chime in and let us know what you think right here on the home of ESPN Radio in North Georgia on the SportsPig app and online at sportspigradio.com.
Welcome to your hometown pub. Open 7 days a week, the pub in Ella J is your happy hour hangout. They offer a variety of dishes to satisfy every palate, and their friendly staff is here to ensure a wonderful time. Join them for daily happy hour specials Monday through Thursday. And don't forget, every Wednesday is Wing Wednesday with $1 wings all day long. Located at 941 Maddox Drive in East Ella J. Open Sunday through Wednesday till midnight, Thursday through Saturday till 2 a.m. The pub in Ella J, where every visit feels like home.
Grand Slam!
98.1 and 93.7 The Sports Pig, the official home for the Atlanta Braves baseball. It's time to roll back the clock and relive the biggest moments from the weekend. This is your Mafia Monday Weekend Rewind with a man who knows what it means to battle in the trenches. It's table crushing time on the Morning Rant.
Welcome back to this Monday morning quarterback edition of the program, our Memorial Day program, again brought to you by your friends at Foundation Wealth in Dalton. Again, Joel Hudson, Eric, Dakota, the whole team there, they'll take care of you. They do business a lot differently, and man, you will definitely notice the difference. Appreciate those guys being on board with us right here. Appreciate my man, the refrigerator mover, John Davis, right here. It is a Mafia Monday. Time now for our weekend rewind as we get into a few of the topics there. Of course, I do want to come back. We'll talk some racing in a moment as well. But, man, you're wearing the Georgia Tech pullover again, proud today. And, hey, man, why not? The Jackets, again, the tournament champions in the ACC for baseballs. We talk a lot of baseball today.
I hate to admit this, but I probably have watched more Georgia Tech baseball in the last 3 days than I have in probably 30 years. Because they're on TV. I mean, I follow them, and I love to watch them, and I want them to do well. But, they were on TV and up here working and trying to put shows together and getting ready for our podcast coming up in June. And the first time the regular season and tournament season champions against the North Carolina Tar Heels, that's hard. Obviously, you know how hard that is, and they had to go all the way to the very end of the season to beat Boston College, I think the number 4 seed, to even beat NC for the tournament or for the season record. And then the last team to do that, believe it or not, was 13 years ago, and it was North Carolina. So,
right.
Drew Barris gets his home run record and does it in 3 years. But I tell you, watching Thursday and Saturday, the ball coming off of those bats, I mean, it's just like moonshots.
Right.
And,
yeah.
I mean, the outfielders were just stopping and just turning around. They weren't going to make any effort to go see if they had a chance to catch it or not. But
I love it.
No, they lead the nation in scoring with a little over 10 points a game. Pitching looked great, but it's like Coach Ramsey said. We might only score 6 runs sometimes, but it's what you come accustomed to people saying, well, they're getting ready to, all these 7-run shortened games because of the 10-run limit and everything.
Right.
But he says, even at a 6-0 or a 6-run game, we played really well.
Yeah.
But there's, obviously more room to improve. But just looking at that team overall, and, I'm not a genius at baseball, but I've played enough to know the right things to look at.
Sure.
They just look like a solid team.
Yeah,
and,
they are.
So it's going to be exciting. I just found out I think they got a super regional at home, which is going to be
that
big.
may be one to check out right there. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then also, but on the flip side, our history of the past few years of not playing well once we get to the playoffs. And so, but you look at even at Virginia when we were playing them the other day, I think it was Saturday, they would get down by a run or two, then they'd get up, and then Virginia would get another run or two, and then Georgia Tech would get up.
Yeah.
And then you're like wondering, wow, this is a tough game. Seventh inning comes and you score 6 runs.
Yeah, there you go.
So,
you're right. Yeah.
So the offense just explodes. So,
right. Yeah.
Very, very happy for the guys. Very happy for Coach Ramsey and all the players. I think they've got 3 of our players projected in like the top 20 picks or 25 picks, and then but we're going to give some love to the school over that's east of us. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they won their championship.
I was going to say, UGA. What a year it's been for both Georgia and Georgia Tech baseball. Both programs again headed well on their way perhaps to the College World Series.
Sure.
So, man, you love to see it from a state standpoint, no doubt about it. Hey, let's talk a little bit of racing. Obviously, the Indy 500. I watched most of that race yesterday. I'm not going to lie. I kind of sat around. I did some yard work. Had to recover, of course, from Saturday night and getting in late, but I did manage to sit around and watch a lot of the Indy 500 and even some of the Coca-Cola 600 last night. Felix Rosenquist, again, with the closest finish in Indy. They've been running this thing over 100 years. If you didn't see the last lap, man, do yourself a favor and pull it up on social media. David Malukas, the young American, had it in hand, but, man, just couldn't quite pull it off there. A lot of raw emotion after that race. And then, of course, the Coca-Cola 600 last night, a rain-shortened event that saw Daniel Suarez end up with the win there. But the big story really yesterday were all the Kyle Busch, of course, memorials as we kind of expected. Even with the Indy 500, they paid tribute to Kyle as well. And, it was just wild and still just a lot of questions, I think, that were kind of surrounding over the weekend. And now, of course, more and more details are coming out about that.
What a fabulous day of tributes for Kyle Busch. I have to admit, John Henry texted me about 10 o'clock in the morning. He's like, "You're going to watch, aren't you?" And I said, "Yes, son, I'm going to watch." I mean, I tried to at least watch some of it.
Right.
Well, I got it on the computer and started doing research and just a lot of stuff that you and I are trying to get ready for. And
kind of breezed right over.
And then all of a sudden I'm like, damn. And so I turned it on YouTube on my computer and YouTube TV, and sure enough, the race is over.
Yeah.
And but then I did get to see the last the last lap replay and everything. It was interesting that one of the guys made a comment doing the racing yesterday with the Indianapolis 500 that you really don't hear with other sports, or at least I haven't heard about it. The Indianapolis is all about first place and the 32 that lost.
Right, yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? So, that really kind of hits hard because, sometimes there is consolation for second or third. Yeah. Well, not in the Indianapolis 500.
No, yeah. I mean, these guys dream about it their whole life, right? And
the emotions that they pour into it. And this poor David guy, look,
Malukas,
I can feel for it. And we'll talk about it a little bit later. I can feel for it. But, that kid was crying like a baby. And,
right.
I've got my own thoughts on that, and I tell you what, I was really hurting for him, because I've been there, and to show that, allow America and the world to see that emotion is amazing.
Yeah, it really is. Again, Rosenquist, the third Swede to win. The last one was Kenny Brack, which I remember. And I went to the Indy 500, I think it was 2000 is right around when I went, 99, 2000. I remember Eddie Cheever Jr. won that one. If you've never been to the Indy 500, even if you're not a race fan, just the spectacle of it, the pageantry of it. I mean, it's very much like the Kentucky Derby, but with race cars. I mean, there's roses, there's, they drink the milk, there's all these traditions and things that go along along with it. And, of course, last night, Coca-Cola, now Catherine Legg, I believe is her name, she was attempting to do the Indy Charlotte double, one of the first females, and she would have been the first female to complete it had she done it, but she got wiped out on lap 18 in the Indy 500. I think she finished towards the back. She did make it to Charlotte, and but again, it was a rain-shortened event. I think she was back towards the back of the field there. So unfortunately, not a lot of history being made there. But Tony Stewart was the last one to complete it back, I believe, in 2002. And I remember him doing it, man. I think he had a top 5 in both races. It was just a remarkable day. 1,100 miles of racing is a long way to go. Again, more details, though, coming out about Kyle Busch. It turns out he was coughing up blood the night before he passed away. It looks like it was a kind of severe pneumonia that just wasn't addressed or treated. It just kind of progressed and turned into other things.
Well, and I was listening to one of the doctors on TV yesterday, and when he had heard that he was coughing up blood, the first thing that came to his mind was, kid's got a blood clot.
Yeah.
And sure enough, it turns out to be pneumonia, and then it turns into sepsis, but then it also exacerbated 3 or 4 or 5 different other things and it just attacked his body, man. And just in that short of a time, it's just, it's sad. They showed his brother Kyle, Kurt Busch, doing the little laying the roses down on his number and stuff, his big memorial and stuff. But yeah, it's a sad day, and it's gonna it's gonna hurt for a while for those guys. You saw them lowering the car down the other day, and so it's they all paid respectfully great tribute. And they weren't lying because, it's a fierce competitive sport, as you know. And it's like, a lot of people didn't like him because they wanted to be like him.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
And
Absolutely. So you're trying to figure out and do everything that you can possibly do to be like him. And it just, but you could really see the stories come out. And there's going to be more. And, it's going to be, as sad as it is with him passing away, it's going to be fun to see how they memorialize him and the better stories that come out.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Still plenty ahead right here, and we'll kind of see how it pans out in the world of racing. And obviously, it was just a crushing blow, very unexpected passing of Kyle Busch, a 2-time champion and the all-time winner amongst all 3 circuits combined. Again, Kyle Busch passing away at the age of 41, honored, and as you mentioned, John, a lot of tributes taking place over the Memorial Day weekend with the Indy 500 and the Coca-Cola 600, the timing of all that. Hey, on the other side of the break, we still got NBA, NHL playoffs. We are going to get to our Jasper Coca-Cola text line because we have had some response on there as well, 866-888-0744. Some special announcements to make about the show coming up over the next couple of weeks. And, of course, we'll talk a little bit about some other things later in the show, some memories, some different things popping up here on the special Memorial Day edition of the Monday Morning Quarterback Morning Rant right here on the home of ESPN Radio in North Georgia, right here on the Sports Pig app and online at sportspigradio.com.
Whatever cooling solution makes the most sense, Green Heating and Cooling is ready to help. Whether you need a quick fix or an entirely new cooling system, Green will do whatever it takes for your family's comfort. With Green, you get more than just a technician. You get someone who's committed to meeting your needs and achieving a high level of training and skills. Someone backed by outstanding products from one of the industry's most trusted names, Bryant. Nobody understands the ins and outs of home comfort like Green. So whatever your situation or budget, Green Heating and Cooling has a solution for you. Bryant, whatever it takes.
98.1 and 93.7 The Sports Pig, your official home for flag-to-flag coverage of NASCAR. Big opinions of the big games from the big mouths.
Man, I think it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's the Morning Rant on WPGY The Sports Pig, North Georgia's home for ESPN Radio.
Sit down.
Back here on this Monday Morning Quarterback Edition, brought to you by Foundation Wealth. Again, our friends at Foundation Wealth over off of South Thornton Avenue over in Dalton, Georgia. Again, stop on by and see them at the historic McCutcheon home. I believe the second oldest still standing home that was built, I think, right after the Civil War, if I'm not mistaken. mistaken. But again, a beautiful facility there, but they can do a lot of beautiful things for your finances and for your future at Foundation Wealth. So go ahead and check them out. Hey, Dave Garner back here, the professor, with the refrigerator mover John Davis here on a Memorial Day, a special edition of our program as we continue to give our thoughts and prayers, of course, to all of those folks, service folks who have fought for our freedom, paying the ultimate price, and those currently serving in our military, our servicemen and women all around the world today. We were talking about erasing all the different memorials and tributes that have happened. I do want to kind of talk about some good things that are happening over the next week or two. One of those things is the John Davis Classic. The big golf tournament is next Wednesday. So we will be live from there June the 3rd. Looking forward to it. And, again, benefiting the Georgia Mountains Hospice, as always. This tournament is well into the 34th year, I think, as we've been talking about there. So I'm excited selfishly to be broadcasting from there next Wednesday. But more importantly than that, raising good funds for a great cause.
I tell you what, Gina Penley's just done a wonderful job. We've talked about her before. She's been with me the whole time. This is our 34th. I just talked to her and Tracy, and I think we're right at 32 teams, which is fantastic. That's about where I want to be because if you're a golfer, listen, I've been out on the course for 8 hours before, and that's just not any fun.
You don't want to do
and
that,
one of the things, I know it's for charity, but one of the things that I really like to always make sure is that we kind of streamline it and run it fast. We got food on the front side, the front 9, the back 9, and then a great taco bar at the end of the tournament. $1.1 million that we have raised over the last 33 tournaments.
That's awesome.
I want people to understand this. All that money has gone directly to the patient. And that is what's very important for me and our mission and everything. So we, when Hester and I decided to do this 30-something years ago, we wanted to make sure it was something that was going to have a big impact on not just LJ and Gilmer County, but the whole surrounding community. Sure. I believe, I always get it wrong, but I think we're servicing about 11 or 12 counties or parts of counties, and we turn no one away. And so Gina's just done, and her team have done such a wonderful job. Got some people coming in from Georgia Tech. We got some people coming in from LJ. Some of my teammates and some of my neighbors are coming up for it. And so we're going to have an action-packed 3 hours, and going to get a lot of interviews in there, get a lot of people's thoughts and feelings about Gina and what she's done. I always like to try to maybe off the side get, one or two little sentence clips from the golfers so we can do like a little memorial or memory lane thing for Gina and her team, and just something that just thanks them and they know how much they're loved.
Absolutely. And then in a couple weeks after that, again, we finalized it, man. June the 19th, Father's Day weekend. It's Friday. It's a Friday. We're going to be back at Bradley's Bar and Grill officially for the second leg of our tour, if you will, our 3-month summer tour at Bradley's. And you've announced that, and you were telling me about this over the weekend. I got super excited, man.
Yeah.
A brisket food truck. I mean, man, I'm just going to let you go, man. Tell us what we can expect on that day.
My buddy Ryan Monet, I've known him for a while. Our kids played football together. You talk about a barbecue expert. It's just unbelievable. He was over at a gas station there off of Powers Ferry yesterday, gave me a text and said, hey, come by and just say hello. I got something for you. Yeah. Dave, I'm going to tell you something. Best brisket I've ever had.
Woo,
but hands down.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do at Bradley's, we are going to make about 40 plus pounds of pork barbecue.
There you go.
And John's going to put together a little special of sandwiches, maybe some barbecue or pork nachos.
Right.
The prices are really, it's almost going to be a donation based. Hey, you want a sandwich? Just give a donation so we can give money back into the community. But yeah, we're going to do that. But that's beforehand that we're going to make all that. But on the day of, Smoking Spoonful is going to have his trailer there, the smoker, and we're going to be out there smoking chicken, meats, ribs, wings, salmon, you name it. We're just going to throw it on there and just smoke throughout the whole day, and so people can enjoy it. And then we get 3 hours of fun on the radio show. So I'm looking forward to a big day. Again, it goes, for the Cobb County Police Athletic League, PAL, the Boys and Girls Club, I believe, of Jasper, Georgia, North Georgia, and then we got the Appalachian Children's Center in LJ that works in that area as well. So we're selling tickets. I was just telling y'all on Centab.
Yeah, man. You're selling them like crazy.
This has gone way down.
I love it. I love it. I got to get going, man. You're way ahead of me.
It used to be way out here. Now it's down. And I tell you what, the giving of the community is just absolutely amazing. I actually, right before we came online, sold $200 more worth of tickets.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yesterday had a big day of about $300. And so, and that's just the giving. That's just the giving heart of a lot of people who want to support us. They do get 3 of my jerseys, my Gilmer High School, Georgia Tech, and then Buffalo Bill. And then they also get a signed copy of Coach Bill Curry's 10 Men in a Huddle, which is a fabulous book. So, but I've got people all the way from New York, Texas, North Carolina. They're all buying tickets in hopes to win. And I think they probably want the book more than anything else, but we're just going to throw the jerseys in there just for fun.
We'll throw the jerseys in there as well. Again, $20 for 8 tickets is what we're doing. So if you want to get in on this, again, you can text us on our Jasper Coca-Cola text line and say, hey, put me down for a 20 spot for 8 tickets, 866-888-0744, or you can reach out to John or myself directly. He's on Twitter at John Davis _65. I'm at Dave Garner 777, and this is the Morning Rant. Do want to remind folks about our social media as well, but again, John's got the QR code he's holding up for those of you watching on YouTube right now, if you're watching the video version of the show. So again, we'll have the QR codes as well that you can do and scan. And so again, man, we appreciate it. Sports Pig is on Facebook. Morning Rant is on Instagram, and also full video episodes we mentioned on YouTube. We'll try to. One thing we should do is post the QR code maybe on the social media on our Facebook page or so. That way they can scan it there if they want to. So maybe we'll do that. But again, the Morning Rant podcast version of the show available every day on our website. That's sportspigradio.com. And wherever you listen to your favorite daily podcast on both Apple and Android platforms, including Spotify and Podbean. Speaking of the Jasper Coca-Cola text line, we did have a texter, I believe it was Robert, that texted in right after our show on Friday and said, when does college football just declare itself semi-pro, or should there be a league for those that really want a college degree while playing football, and then a separate league for those that just want to play football and not worry about the school part of it? There are some different semi-professional leagues that exist throughout the country, for guys, but most of that is post-college. Most of it is like, hey, guys that are maybe trying to get noticed to get into a league or what have you. But that's an interesting question. Who knows?
It's not a bad question at all, and in fact, we've talked about it a little bit, but maybe not into broader terms. But it goes back to, do you put the Power 5 teams together? You just pick out your top 80 teams, and then you say, okay, this is who we're going to direct our focus on to win a championship and do all that. They're getting paid. They're doing all that. And then the rest of the teams, they're just going to go out there and play football. You do conferences for them. And look, it's not, we're not making fun or degrading or anything the value of the football.
Sure.
But it is what it is, Dave. Texas is going to raise $100 million. Marshall's going to raise $10 million. Yeah. So there's such a huge discrepancy there that, will it happen? I don't know. But you know what? Hell, you and I have been talking about this for 30 years, and look what's happened now.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so, you wouldn't have thought we'd ever been where we were at now, really.
Exactly. Exactly. So, so I understand what Robert's saying, and I have no, they're being paid, and it's like when I used to play, we got handshakes. It was just ours was just under the table. And but today they're out there. You see them on TV. They're doing their advertisements
unapologetically. You're right.
Yeah. God bless them. Let's just we do hope that they're getting some financial guidance. And for the one who sent us a text about the academics and the graduation rates from one school to another about graduating and what school they're coming from, I have a call in to Georgia Tech. It is the holiday weekend, so I don't look to hear from these guys until the next couple of days. But we will get back to you on that because that is very important. Let's don't forget at the end of the day, education still rules.
It still wins out. Yeah, maybe we'll know that by our Winging It Wednesday edition or our Friday happy hour. That was our friend over in Beaufort, Georgia, by the way, that texted last week and said, colleges, how do they measure graduation rates and all that sort of stuff. So again, we will talk about that right here as we get some answers, but we want to interact with you, man. We love the interaction. We love what's going on right now with our Jasper Coca-Cola text line. So anything you want to chime in about, man, feel free to do that. As always, it's always open at 866-888-0744. That's 0PIG for the pig, sports pig, right here. We'll be here throughout the week. Next Wednesday, as we talked about, 10 to 1, 3-hour show at Bent Tree Golf Course in Pickens County for the John Davis Classic. And then, of course, on June the 19th, a Friday, 10 to 1, back at Bradley's Bar and Grill off of Lower Roswell Road in East Cobb. We're also going to be getting back out to the pub in LJ as well. And maybe a couple other surprises here over this next month. We're into the summer season, so the weather's warming up, man. The pollen is, for the most part, kind of wrapped up. Although I'm still feeling a few allergies right there. Hey, real quick before we go to the break, I do want to mention Wyndham Clark, the winner of the Byron Nelson Cup, as we talk about PGA. We'll do that a lot tomorrow with my man Billy D on a Rally Towel Tuesday. He is our golf aficionado. So, again, we will aficionado, I guess. But, we'll talk to Billy D tomorrow a little bit more about that. Not sure if you caught any of that. Scotty, man, was making a push there, but that course a little bit easier to play maybe than what we've seen over the last, minus 30. I mean, are you kidding? Scheffler was minus 25. Kim was minus 27 as the runner-up there. So, man, I mean, you could have finished 15 under and still been tied for 35th, over the weekend there. But, No,
that's a notoriously easy course. I think Scotty won last year like 31 or 32 under. And, I was going to tell you before we head off to break is that I think, in a way, you're starting to see the humanization of Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah.
Because these guys, I think it was, and it might have happened a little bit quicker than what it happened with Tiger, because these people are like, well, one, he's a great guy. Yeah. But two, he's beatable. We know we can beat him. But when Tiger went on that run, everybody's like, I'm playing for second place.
Right, exactly. You already knew that going in. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's not to discount Scotty's, athletic ability and how well he's played over the last 5 years. It just seems, from a sports guy, and we're allowed to say it, it just seems like, but you know what? He also looks at the game a lot differently as well, Dave. He sits back. It's all about family with him, but he knows what his job is. Right. And he's going to give you everything he's got, to win. The kid still wants to win, but it's just a little different feel, I think you might think, than it was with Tiger.
Yeah, absolutely. Scotty's still one of the best, man. I root for that guy, but it's definitely a little bit different,
and my boy Brooks Koepka.
Yeah,
I think he got into the top 10, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think he did. Yeah, he got in there as well. So a pretty good round overall for some of the notable names that we tend to follow right there. But Wyndham Clark, man, congratulations, winner of the Byron Nelson Classic over the weekend. Hey, we're up against our final break. When we come back, we'll touch on NBA, NHL real quick, and then we'll go down memory lane and talk about a couple different little topics right here on this Memorial Day special edition of our Monday Morning Quarterback Morning Rant. Keep it right here locked on the home of ESPN Radio in North Georgia, on the Sports Pig app and online at sportspigradio.com.
Financial scams are on the rise, and with AI, they're getting more and more sophisticated every day. If someone pressures you to act quickly, ask for secrecy, or request payment through gift cards, wire transfers, or cryptocurrency, stop. Legitimate financial professionals don't rush you or demand unusual payment methods. Before you send money or share personal information, slow down and verify. Protect your future. When in doubt, ask questions.
If you're suspicious of a scam, call the team at Foundation Wealth today at 706-278-0214.
98.1 and 93.7 The Sports Pig, the official home for the Atlanta Braves baseball. We bring the heat, you bring the trash talk.
Come on, man. Are you serious?
It's the Morning Rant, live on the Sports Pig app and sportspigradio.com.
The Professor, Dave Garner, and the Refrigerator Mover, John Davis, back with you right here on a Memorial Day edition of the program. We are live inside our Carriage Kia studios if you're listening on the radio dial right now. If you're watching us on YouTube, more than likely, the show happened earlier. It's not live, but nonetheless, you can catch daily video episodes of the show on YouTube. You can also catch clips on Instagram. We're all over the place, man. The podcast version of the show you can hear every day, everywhere. I mean, it's all over the place. Spotify, Podbean, you name it, all Apple, Android platforms. We're also on social media. Interact with us. I'm at Dave Garner 777. He's at John Davis _65, and this is the Morning Rant. Hey, John, speaking of Bradley's, we got a text, you and I did, from our man John Capone earlier. They got hot dogs today till 3 o'clock. So if you're in that East Cobb area over there, get on over to Bradley's. And these aren't just like, small dogs, right? These are the big ones.
No. Yeah, you eat more than one of these, you're a good person. He's got. Listen, I'm telling you, it just goes back to he just has great food, and but yeah, he's doing free hot dogs until 3 p.m. today.
Okay,
the big ones, they're the big quarter pounder, maybe even bigger, but
free hot dogs. Wow.
I for some reason I order 2 every time I go in there, and I always come back with 1. But yeah, he's just doing something to honor the veterans, and they said, trust me, they share stories down there, and I'm sure he's going to have some other fun activities going on during the day. I'm actually going to drop off some tickets to him after a while, so that's why I didn't eat breakfast. So,
there you go,
I might have to have one of those dogs with some chili and cheese on them.
Oh, my goodness. There you go, man. I like it right there. Hey, let's hear real quick the Pickens Dragons again in Game 3, the decisive Game 3 of the 3A state championship. Let's hear real quick from Coach Adam Williams on why this team is so special.
Well, first of all, we have really good players. So really good players help you win a lot of games. So it's really good when you run our pitching staff out there with AJ Rice and Christian Starks and Everett Grubbs, and got people out of the bullpen like Robert Turner and Dylan Walls and kids that have started and contributed all year like Jackson Nunn and MT Crenshaw. Our lineup's been really, really solid. Robert Turner sets the tone at the top, and then Jennings Allen does a good job in the 2-hole, and Cam Jenkins has just been a rock behind the plate. He hits third for us and has just driven in runs all year. So we've just been getting contributions from all kind of kids throughout the year, and they've played hard, they've competed, and I'm really happy for them. I'm glad they get this opportunity to keep playing.
Pickens Dragons again with Game 3, the if game, the decisive Game 3 today. Later on this evening down in Columbus at 6 p.m. Our live coverage at 5:30 over on our sister station, 101.1 The Pulse, beginning at 5:30 with the Amicalola EMC pregame show. John, looking forward to that one right there. Hey, real quick, NBA last night. It was the Knicks going up 3-0 on the Cavs over the weekend. That was on Saturday. Then yesterday, San Antonio evened their series with OKC. So again, 2-2 in that series, but man, I'm not sure there's any stopping the Knicks right now with the way they're playing.
Yeah, and kudos for you watching and bringing them up. Sorry.
Well, let's just move on.
I don't have anything else to offer.
Hey, NHL, by the way, too, now this is a little bit of a surprise. The Golden Knights 3-0 over the Avalanche. Oh my goodness.
Down 3-0. They were down 3-0 last night in their game, and they came back, and I only got to watch the last period, but man, you talk about some great hockey. Yeah, they've got Denver or Colorado up against the wall.
Yeah, they do right now. 3-0. I mean, Avalanche, I thought I kind of had them penciled in as the Stanley Cup champs, but now they're facing elimination. I mean, they're in danger of getting swept. I think there's something to be said for kind of sitting around a little bit. Meanwhile, the Canadians and Canes tied at 1 apiece over in that series right there as the NHL playoffs continue as well. Right now, it's time for some memories right here on this Memorial Day Monday.
We got some movies, refrigerators,
It's time to take a stroll down memory lane with the Refrigerator Mover.
So we were talking about it with it being Memorial Day and kind of move this into Monday here a little bit, talking about some memories. And, of course, you and I, with all the different service folks that we've had, of course, in our families throughout time there, and it, definitely brought up a lot of different things. But I kind of wanted to, let you kind of go in a little bit as well, because there's a lot of different ways that we could take this. But your thoughts, man, as we kind of go down memory lane today and talk about, just some of those emotional times in our lives.
Yeah, there's two things I want to bring up. One of them about Memorial Day, and then the other one about the race yesterday at the Indianapolis 500. But yeah, getting back to Memorial Day, I grew up in the generation, and I think you did too at the very end of it. But I think we grew up at the during the time of where our parents really didn't talk, our grandparents really never even talked. You might pull a little bit more out of them than you did our regular our parents. Yeah. But yeah, I just sit back through just thinking about the memories and stuff, and it really caught me off guard as I was talking to somebody yesterday about it, that and I mentioned it earlier. You walk up to your father's casket, and you always, no matter the relationship that you have with your parents, you always revere them as they're the role model. They're the ones that you try to want to emulate and do good, do right. I remember my dad, who I thought was a great guy. People at LJ loved him, but he didn't show any emotion. He just was like, yeah, well, what are you going to do next? And that's just what you. That's what you.
It's a lot of that, generation,
and that's just the way it is. Yeah, and but walking up to his casket and sitting there and seeing the Purple Heart, I was just like thinking, you know what, you could have at least told us that you had it, but then as you sit down, you just start remembering the conversations that you had with him, and it just was nothing that he always redirected those conversations and never really wanted to talk about it. He had a long career in the Air Force, and his brothers were long military veterans, and Paul Davis, Martin Davis, AJ Davis, and to name on that side, then George Green on my mom's side, and so it's just those. It's like I told you, as you sneak back in, they start the memories as you get a little bit older. But yeah, so this is a great day. I hope everybody enjoys their time with their family and friends, and then tell those stories. Sure. And then the last thing, because I know we got just a couple of minutes. The pure emotion of the kid, David, from the Indianapolis 500 yesterday was just, it brought back another memory of mine as I was sitting here at my desk. I don't think the regular fan understands when you compete in a race like that. I'm not saying the Super Bowl is anywhere comparable to the Indianapolis. It's two sports in its own, on its own worlds, and lives on its own. You lose four of them. The emotions, especially walking off after the Giants when we lost 20-19. Yeah, and missed that field goal. That's one of the reasons why I hate the media so much, is because right when you're walking off, they stick 15 microphones in your face, and good things don't happen.
You're going to get a lot of raw emotion, and then you wonder why are these, man, I can't believe he said that or whatever.
And the media can flip it just like that. You're exactly right.
No doubt.
So just for the people out there that might have maybe snickered or something, that's a lot of emotion coming out of that young man, because it's like I said, you got one winner and 32 losers.
Yeah. So
you're right. Just bear in mind, there's a lot that we put into this, and it does take a little bit. I'm getting better because it's been 35 years later, but yeah. So just keep in mind with that. And then if I can say this before you close up, Dave,
you're good.
I've gotten several texts. we apologize. We're working on it, but our app seems to be going out a little bit more towards the end. I can assure you Dave's working on it and getting with our engineers to fix that up. We do appreciate y'all listening to us. You can go online and also at Sports Pig Radio and listen to us online. And then the call letters that are up in North Georgia, you can hear us that way as well. But for the ones who are using the app, give us a little grace. We're working on it. Dave's doing the best he can with the engineers, and we'll get all the kinks worked out.
Yeah, and part of it is, from what I learned this morning, apparently, is that there's only so many users that are available. So there are times, like for the baseball the other night, where we maxed out the app. We had so many people listening that it maxed it out.
That's a great thing.
That may be part of it. I mean, I hope that's part of it. But again, we are working through some of that stuff, and we'll definitely get it ironed out. My biggest memory again from the weekend was on Friday night. My stepdaughter graduated, the last one in the house right there. Poured down rain. They did everything they could to give those graduating seniors an outdoor football stadium graduation, but Mother Nature said no. They had to move it in the gym. Everybody was soaking wet, but hey, at the end of the night, everybody graduated, and it was a good thing there. So all in all, a good weekend. We hope that you guys have had a good weekend, and hopefully you're enjoying a long weekend today with the Memorial Day off. And again, once again, our thoughts with all of our Surface people. John, thanks for being with us, bringing it once again right here on a Monday morning quarterback edition of the program. Looking forward to being back with you on Wednesday, partner.
Sounds good. Be careful going down to Columbus Day.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. Looking forward to it. Again, a lot of baseball today. Down in Columbus as the Pickens Dragons play Game 3. The Etowah Eagles kicking off their series today over in Gwinnett in the Class 6A bracket. Hey, thanks for joining us once again. We're all over social media. Our text line, Jasper Coca-Cola text line, 866-888-0744. Feel free to chime in with any and all things right here. Questions for John and I. We'll get to them on the next edition of the program if we're not on the air live. Appreciate you guys listening to us, the home of ESPN Radio in North Georgia, right here on the Sports Pig app and online at sportspigradio.com. Southern Sports Today is up next right here on the Sports Pig. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you tomorrow morning.
Tired of shouting your business's name into the void and getting nothing but crickets? Your brand deserves more than awkward billboard glances and flyers lining bird cages. Right now, listeners are hearing me ramble on instead of your ad. That's a touchdown for missed opportunities and a fumble for your wallet.
Recovered, Atlanta, game over.
Your ad could be here, making fans laugh, cheer, and most importantly, call you. Go to sportspigradio.com or call 678-454-9552 and get your business off the bench and into the game.